The world-famous alpinist Denis Urubko has visited Cluj-Napoca recently, and I was also there. I want to give you a quick summary of the event, the main ideas that I got out of it, and you can watch footage of this year's rescue operation on Nanga Parbat and Urubko's attempt to climb K2 alone. You will see how he trains for those big peaks, and I will give you a summary of the Q&A session as well. If you prefer, you can watch this video in Romanian and Hungarian as well. And I will also write about this subject on my site, transylvanianhiker.com. There you can subscribe to my email list to get a surprise in a few weeks. Don't worry, we won't give your email address to anyone else, and you will only get about 3 to 4 emails per month. The event was organized by Adeona Group, a group formed in 2015, which organizes camps for children in the mountains, has touristical services, but also self-improvement programs and improvement programs for groups and a lot of other stuff. This event took place in the biggest movie theater in Cluj, the Florin Pierre 6 Cinema, which has 729 places. It was called Republica before 2011, and I was just 18 years old the first time I stepped into it, and it looked so huge to me after the cinematographs in my hometown. Unfortunately, the event started with a 10-minute delay. Before Urubko, there were 2 other speakers. The first one, Adrian Opre, who is the Dean of the Psychology faculty, talked about motivation and performance from the theoretical point of view. He drew a parallel between Urubko and the famous Maslow psychologist, because both are from the former Soviet Union. The next speaker was Dan Stefan, an entrepreneur who is the co-founder of Autonom Rent-A-Car from Piatra Neamț, a car rental company which is a market leader. They started with just 3 Dacia Logan cars and 5,000 euros, and now they have about 8,000 cars. They were voted the best employer in Romania 4 times. After them followed the part about Denis Urubko. I must confess I haven't heard of him, which is strange because he has a really impressive CV. He is a Russian, Polish, Italian alpinist. He is considered by many the greatest Himalayan alpinist still active. He was the 15th person on Earth who climbed all 14 8,000 meter peaks, and only the 8th who has done so without supplementary oxygen. In 1999, he finished the Snow Leopard project in just 42 days. This project is about climbing all 5 7,000 meter peaks from the territory of the ex-Soviet Union. He opened new routes on 8,000 meter peaks like Choyu, Manaslu, and the south face of Broad Peak together with Sergei Samoilov. He also opened a new route on Uzhba in Georgia, a mountain which I have also visited in the past, as you can see on this picture. He made winter ascents on 8,000 meter peaks like Makalu and Keshelbrun 2, about which this movie is about. He has held speed records on Elbrus, the highest peak of Europe, and on Kantengri, which is one of the 5 snow leopard peaks. He was awarded the famous Golden Ice X award, which is considered one of the most prestigious awards in the world of alpinism. Just to make a comparison, the Swiss alpinist Ulrich Teck, who died recently, also won the Golden Ice X 2 times. When Urubko stepped on the stage, the moderator asked him to sit, but he said, no, I don't think so. So he remained standing while a first short movie was playing, and he gave us explanations about that movie in real time. This movie was about his early life and how he got to know the famous Italian alpinist Simone Moro. If you saw the movie Into Thin Air or the newer version Everest, maybe you remember the Russian alpinist Anatoly Bukreev, who saved some people in 1996 when the Everest disaster took place. Bukreev died a few years after that in an avalanche, from which Simone Moro somehow could save himself. After that, he made a promise to himself to go to Bukreev's home country, to Kazakhstan, and take a young alpinist with himself on some expeditions. That's how he found Urubko, with whom they made the Snow Leopard project, and after that they climbed Everest and Lhotse, the fourth peak on Earth as well. In the following footage you can hear Urubko as he explains how he got to the conclusion that he wants to climb 8,000 peaks in alpine style, in small team, preferably just 2 persons and on new routes.
But national Kazakhstan team got the aim target mainly to climb all 8,000 meters peaks as a crown by the classical way, only by the normal standard routes, and of course my young ambitions, it was not enough to follow the steps of our previous generations that did it 50, 60 years ago. It was incredible possibility to lose the time, to lose my life for nothing, as I was thinking. And for this reason, I went out from the Kazakhstan national team. I did this strong decision, and I took attention for my real, interesting goals in alpinism. I found 4 routes for myself: 8,000 meters peak, new route, alpine style, and small team, even just only one partner. You give me always specific sensation of the real battle, of the real realization of myself.
Le 25 juillet, à 11h30, il foule le sommet où les attend un simple pieu coiffé d'un drapeau fouetté par...
That I was able to image something at the beginning, then to organize my trainings, expedition, to prepare everything step by step, and then in one real attack on the blade of between death and life, to follow the real nerves of the sensation of my efforts, and to get the summit, to get the real goal.
You can find out more about this subject in a 2-part interview with Urubko that I will put in the cards up there. Let's just clarify shortly, what does alpine style mean? That's in opposition with the classical expedition or siege style. Expedition style means that you build camps at higher and higher altitudes and build up the route with fixed course. In contrast, alpine style is a much faster style where the climber carries all the equipment himself. After the first short movie, Urubko talked about what he thinks the priorities of a man should be. In his opinion, the most important is family, then the second one is job, to provide for the family, then the third one is education, to provide for the job. Only after those can hobby come. After that, there was a second longer movie which was about this year's K2 expedition. K2 is the second highest peak on Earth and the only one which was not climbed in winter. A Polish expedition tried this year to accomplish this. While the expedition was preparing the camps to climb the peak, they were called on a rescue mission on Nanga Parbat, which is also an 8,000 meter peak in Pakistan, about 100 miles away. There was a Polish and a French climber who were having difficulties on Nanga Parbat. So with big risks, a rescue team flew there with a Pakistani military helicopter. Urubko and his Polish partner have climbed about 1,000 meters of altitude difference during the night to get to the French climber.
Action was quite risky. And I am very proud that me and Adam, we did it.
Nice to see you.
Of course, that lady was completely exhausted.
It's maybe not warm, but it's wet.
We did this lady, Elizabeth Reward, on the altitude of 6,000 meters. She survived. And of course, it's a very important happiness for two persons who was able to help for another person to come back to home, for friends, for the family.
They managed to save her, but unfortunately they couldn't get to the Polish climber. Urubko didn't think that this rescue mission was a big setback for their expedition, rather he looked at it like a training. He wanted to climb K2 in the winter, and he thinks that winter is only December, January and February. He even sang a Russian song to us to prove that. As the end of February was approaching and the expedition was still waiting for a good weather window, he decided to do a solo attempt. He was criticized because of this, but he still doesn't regret his decision. In the following footage we can see images of his solo attempt to climb K2 in the winter.
Secretly, I packed my backpack, I took very few food, and escaped from the base camp in direction of the mountain. It was difficult, quite psychologically. But now, looking back, I will repeat this attempt. I'm not able to refuse to do something like this because it's dream, something what I'm doing, what I'm waiting from alpinism.
Прикольно. Ветра почти нет.
Almost no wind.
Чуть-чуть.
Little bit. I was prepared very well physically. I took quite enough classes.
Сейчас должно разъясниться.
I was hoping that weather led me to act. Because we arrived there for the winter condition, to do attack on the K2 in winter, not waiting till the summer. Very fast I was going up. On the altitude we make a snow cave.
Буду в пещере сейчас.
I was full of a real ambition to do this despite of everything.
Что-то офигеть. Я сегодня сюда поднялся за 6 часов.
Just only 6 hours took my ascent from Camp 1 to Camp 3.
И легкий всех снегу.
Despite of problems technically, yes. It was a passion for the real freedom, real life maybe. To do something that I really liked, that I was prepared before. I know how to organize everything step by step, details. I don't forget about the flags. I don't forget about the crevices.
After such a difficult, I will try. Just a minute.
In the darkness, intuitivity. I went up without any problems of my body, without any mental problems. I just follow this nervous call, nervous voice of the mountain. I was reflected for this, answering. Finally, I fall down in one crevice. Fortunately, it was a little crevice, small one. I continued. Because way was continued, it was possible to cross this crevice. I want, despite of everything, to get this goal, to take the summit. It was a promising better weather, of course. Finally, I turned back just only because I fall down in another crevice. It was no possibility to escape left or right. Way up was blocked. In case it was a possibility to do something, I continued this. But now way up was blocked, and fortunately, miraculously well prepared. Before I found way down. It was also very, very good luck.
At the end of the second video, he explained multiple parts of alpinism, which are adventure, sport, and art.
Okay, life is chain of possibilities. To act, try to do something better than other persons is a sport. Try to be winner. Then to do it in the very good team, in the very nice, interesting area is adventure. And finally realize it as an art. Welcome to Alpinism. Thank you very much.
In the Q&A session, he was asked some questions. First, what are his plans for the future? The answer was simple: to survive. Then he elaborated that every man after the age of 45 starts to get weaker and weaker physically, even if mentally it's strong. So he must be careful because he is 45. Then he told that he plans to go in Patagonia in the winter, which on the southern hemisphere is summer, and climb with his wife on the Cerro Torre mountain. I looked up this mountain. Actually, it's a beautiful mountain just west of the Fitzroy mountain, which is also the name of my winter jacket. A lady asked that his boyfriend goes a lot on the mountain, and she's jealous because of that. So she asked Urubko if he had to choose between family and the mountain, which one would he choose? And Urubko answered that he is egoist, so he would choose the mountain. But if a woman really loves a man, she shouldn't ask the man to make such a decision. An interesting question was how Urubko prepares for the extreme cold which is in the Himalayas. And the answer was also interesting. He said that at the beginning of expeditions he likes to be in the warm jackets and drink hot tea, because he is so cold that he can't even put his hand on the cold snow. And other members of the expedition make fun of him that how can he be cold? He is Russian, he's not supposed to be cold. But after a few weeks or months, the human organism adapts really well to the cold, and that's how he doesn't have problems with it. The next question was about mental preparation. Urubko said that the trick is to know in every situation what you have to do. So you prepare yourself beforehand for every possible situation, and you already know what to do. You don't have to think about it on the field. When asked about what the toughest situation on the mountain was, he answered that usually the tough situations are when he and his partner don't understand themselves. When asked if Simone Monroe is considered his soulmate, as a climbing soulmate, the answer was yes. He was asked what he considers the biggest challenge in life. He answered that he thinks that the relationship between man and woman is always difficult, but usually time gives good solutions for these problems. When asked why did he become an alpinist, he told us the story when he was a child and had asthma. He went with his father into the mountains for fishing and hunting, and he realized that he really likes to go up to the peaks. When his father noticed this, he asked him, why do you go to the peaks and don't do anything useful? I hope you don't want to be an alpinist. And Urubko said, no, I haven't lost my mind, I don't want to be an alpinist. And just 1 year later he became one. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. If you liked it, hit the like button, and if you want to see other videos like this, subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well, and don't forget to visit my site transylvanianhiker.com. You can support me on PayPal and Patreon as well.